pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And away we go on campus here at Woody Anderson Ford. The truck is gone. It has been replaced by a setup for a tailgate, almost as if football season is right around the corner. Well, we started the show yesterday with Reese Davis, and I played a little snippet from Reese that we kind of jovially had a little back and forth with Reese. Well, I listened to the podcast today. By the way, how are you, Wes?
I'm doing good. Good to be here at Woody Anderson Ford.
Always great.
They sold our truck.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
but that's a nice little setup.
Oh, there's no question.
Tailgate setup with a tent, chairs, television.
We have everything down here.
And you can plug in all your stuff into your car or your truck.
Oh, yeah.
Get ready for tailgate season. So how does Reese Davis open up his podcast with Pete Thamel today?
Is Alabama in decline?
I mean, that's the first sentence.
This was already taped when he did it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, he could have given us a heads up. So I've been texting back and forth with Reese all afternoon. But there is a really good conversation with Kirby Smart that they had. In fact, maybe the best story I heard about Carson Beck, the now starting quarterback at the University of Georgia. Here's a little bit of what Kirby had to say on maybe some growing pains, shall I say.
Is that there was a time when he was the 2 in our first national championship run, and Stetson was the 3. And Stetson only took reps with the 3s. We play Clemson. Carson's the 2. We come out of the game, and JT Daniels has an oblique injury, and we've got to go the next week. And we weren't sure JT was going to be able to play or not. So enter Carson. He took the reps as the 2 that entire week. I think we were getting ready to play UAB. And right at the end of the week, we thought Stetson, Coach Monken came to me and said, hey, look, I think we got to go with Stetson here. I think Stetson gives us a better chance to win. He's played a little better this week. And Carson spoke to the team about missing that opportunity and how it affected him and how he didn't think that he had prepared the right way. He didn't think that he was prepared. And it went on to happen where Stetson, never looked back, played for 2 years, but Carson Beck could have been our quarterback that entire time. And he learned from that. He learned valuable lessons from that. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
That is a little bit of Kirby Smart on that podcast, the College Game Day podcast that dropped today.
It's unbelievable. Why was Carson Beck in front of because he was a walk-on, right? They don't want to play walk-ons unless they have to because they take a lot of how much controversy was it the whole time that the winningest quarterback in Georgia history, the whole time they wanted to bench him.
Yeah.
Now, not so much last year, I don't guess.
Yeah. And the future Heisman Trophy winners now at Rice getting ready for Texas next weekend.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Rice was better last year, though.
So the other thing that I wanted to play for you here real quick, last night was another episode of Hard Knocks. And I tell you, this team is just fun to watch. I reached out to Phil Savage, and we had a little back and forth as well. But Quentin Williams
It's the real deal.
He is. But so you hear him at the very beginning talking to his head coach, Robert Saleh, and then there's a little powwow, and he's talking about his weight heading into this camp.
I told him, man, action louder than words. Come on now, coach.
I love that guy.
Mike Evans called me fat. He called me fat, bro. Mike Evans. Bro, I lost weight this offseason. I look fat. Now I'm self-conscious, bro.
Yeah, I would say skinny.
Damn, bro.
Very thick.
Thick?
But I think you fit. But non-skinny.
Oh, you think we want it? Do I look good to be 300 pounds? Okay, cool.
You proportionate.
You jump.
Just looking for the compliment.
Yeah, I know.
The D lineman getting. Do I look good for 300?
No, so I'm gonna tell you, he converses very well for D lineman. There's no doubt about
there's
that.
a lot of truth in what you just said.
A lot of defensive linemen you got to just kind of look at and just let it process. What did he really just say? Yeah.
So there's a lot I want to get into, but I want to take an early timeout, and this is why I want to take an early timeout. Mickey Andrews is going to join us at 5:30 today. So Big C, hang with us. The over-under totals from ESPN College Game Day, what do they think about the over-under win totals at 10.5 for Alabama? Plus, there's another nice little speech from Coach Saleh that I think is worth playing as well, as we are just out of the gate right here, live from Woody Anderson Ford. We will be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're starting to see more and more of them on the road in Huntsville, Madison, and North Alabama. And we've got them in stock, on the ground, ready for you to test drive. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm talking about the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Come experience the torque, exhilaration, and technology of our all-electric 2023 Mach-E, and you'll see why folks are leasing and buying them as fast as we can get them. And that's not to mention you may qualify for a $7,500 tax credit. Woody Anderson Ford is offering financing as low as 2.9% for 60 months, plus $3,000 in bonus cash on the 2023 Mustang Mach-E. Or you can lease one for $449 a month. And we've also got 23 Bronco Sports for $399 a month. These are 36-month leases with $52.71 on Mach-E, $37.09 on Bronco Sport due at signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. These offers end September 4th. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come on in today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on advancedlifeclinic.com.
For 50 years, our mission, do the right thing and make long-term decisions. We value our customers and we invest in supporting you. We use our own technologies to automate to provide you the best support possible. And we have the strongest guarantees in the industry. I just can't tell you I'm going to provide you great support. I have to prove it to you with my actions.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Alumni Hall. Alumni Hall is the ultimate shopping experience for Alabama and Auburn fans. Located right here in Huntsville, come shop the best selection of officially licensed apparel, hats, Yeti, accessories, and gifts. Whether you're heading to the spring game or shopping graduation gifts or just love to show your school pride daily, come see us at Alumni Hall. University students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in store, and you can earn cash back with our Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in Bridge Street Shopping Center, or shop anytime at alumnihall.com.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit HuntsvilleSports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, online at WoodyAndersonFord.com, along with West Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Just got a text message from Jerry Glanville. Coach Glanville wanted me to pass along a tip to those of you that play high school football, know someone that plays high school football. It's especially timely considering the temperatures right now, and as we're walking up here in week 0 in high school football, Coach Glanville wants to stress the importance of hydration. In fact, if you play on Friday, it's called Water Bottle Thursday, where you take home a water bottle and empty that sucker out before you get to Friday. So a good tip right there from Coach Jerry Glanville. Happy to pass that along. I did want to play a couple other sound bites for you. Big C, we'll get to you in just 1 minute. Mickey Andrews is going to join us in about 20 minutes' time. Some other sound bites that I wanted to get to earlier today. Alabama A&M was the pit stop for our morning show as Connell Maynard spoke about tampering and spoke in great detail. I'll have that coming up. But in case you missed it yesterday, Brian Kelly had this to say about explosive offense at the tail end of his press conference.
Yeah, so, explosiveness sometimes is looked at as, a play that has to be thrown, 20 yards down the field. It could be, making sure that you get the ball into the hands of your dynamic playmakers. And tactically, setting it up as such that they touch the ball enough that you can get explosive plays out of them. And sometimes, I remember, looking at, Alabama's offense in 2020, and, their receivers weren't necessarily always pushing the ball down the field. It was just flipping the ball out on the perimeter, and they were turning them into explosive plays. So, explosive plays to me certainly are about pushing the ball down the field, but it's also about getting the ball into your playmakers' hands. And that's going to be both of those things. You have to balance those because you can't just keep pushing the ball down the field and find yourself, staring at 3rd and 10 every time.
That is a little bit from Brian Kelly from yesterday, in case you missed that, as we played that live yesterday. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number. The over-unders were picked by the College Game Day crew. That's Pete Thamel and Reese Davis. Here is what they had to say on Alabama. Over and under 10.5 wins for the Crimson Tide.
So are you going over or under Alabama at 10.5?
I'm going to go under, Reese.
I am too, by half game. I'm going to say a couple of losses find them while they're trying to sort things out. I think by the end, if they get to the SEC championship game with those 2 losses, they'll give Georgia a handful. But I think there are going to be some growing pains. I'm going to take the under at 10.5 also and say 10 on the nose is where they wind up.
At Texas A&M would scare me a lot if I'm Nick Saban. Just considering what happened last time they went there, combined with the pure talent of Texas A&M. We'll get to them, but the talent collected there is indisputable.
They also did over-unders for every team, and yes, I will play the Auburn one coming up here momentarily, but
who was young?
It was Pete Thamel and Reese Davis.
Well, that's the best news Alabama's gotten yet. Pete Thamel thinks they're going to be
Big C, how you doing, partner?
I'm good. How y'all doing today, Steve and Wes? What's happening?
We're good.
I can see Alabama with 2 losses, though. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities. They had 2 losses last year.
Yeah.
I'm Texas A&M though. You talking about somebody has a lot to put. Yeah, somebody has a lot to put together. Now I think they'll be better than they were last year. Overall
they were
record
5-7.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think they're going to be greatly better. They do have some talent, but their offensive line is a huge issue, right?
Yeah.
And they lost a lot of defensive linemen, and they lost a couple guys in the secondary. They have more to replace than and don't have a quarterback that's taken. I guess who's going to be their starting quarterback? Have they announced that?
No.
There's just as many questions at Texas A&M, but yeah, going to play anybody in the SEC on the road can be overwhelming, no question.
What's going on with UC?
Not much. I did a little research, and in the 1970s, Georgia's preseason number 1 right now. The last 2 years, Alabama was, and like the 70s, of the 10 teams that were preseason number 1, it ended up being 3 teams winning it, the other 7 losing it. In the 80s, 1 and 9, and if I'm not mistaken, with the 60s, I don't think any of the preseason. Alabama was preseason number 1 in '66, but didn't win it.
And didn't lose a game and didn't lose it. That's unbelievable.
So I read something about this, C, and it surprised me because it did it from, I want to say, 1980, and from the AP poll to be preseason number 1 and end up number 1, it was Florida State twice in the 90s. There was a team it was Oklahoma, I want to say 85. Yeah. And then USC did it in 04.
Maybe so. That might be.
But I was really floored that I didn't see Nebraska's name, honestly, from the 90s.
Yeah, 2009. I did this another way. From 1980 to 2009, which is 30 years of football, 4-26. AP preseason number 1. And then Georgia will be in a 20. If they beat Tennessee and go undefeated in the regular season, going into the SEC championship game, they'll have a 29-game winning streak.
Jeez. Which, if you look at the schedule, Georgia should be undefeated going into November this year.
Yeah. Only team I see threatening them would be Tennessee. In the
That's November. Yeah.
Yeah, November. Yeah, Tennessee. And then after that, don't know. Well, if they beat them, they'll finish the regular season undefeated. If they do that. And now, so you think 10-2 is a possible? You think they can do better than that, Wes, or you think that's we're going to have to settle for that this year?
Repeat that now, C. I'm sorry.
About Tennessee?
Do you think they do better than that?
I think Tennessee.
He picked them to win the East.
I think they'll win the East with 2 losses.
No, what about Alabama? I'm sorry, I should have been clear with. You said something about Alabama. Did you say Alabama?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that. Yeah, it's possible they have 2 losses. I mean, they play some good football teams. They play
Texas.
And they play Texas, Ole Miss. Nobody talks about Ole Miss giving Georgia problems. I think Lane can give Kirby problems. I don't know if they can win the game or not, but I think they give them a game and give it some heart. You know, Georgia doesn't show up offensively with a game, and they picked that one against Ole Miss.
Yeah,
that could give them trouble. Lane Kiffin can give any team trouble. He can lose any team too, but he's going to win a couple he's not supposed to. And so I think that those are the teams, Tennessee and Ole Miss you can't overlook South Carolina either. Although Georgia just manhandled them last year. It was ugly. I watched that game.
See, we are sneaking up on an interview in 10 minutes. Well, what are you doing on Facebook, partner?
Tomorrow we're going to be talking about Alabama's been preseason #1 several times, so we'll talk about that. It's talking Bama with Big C and some other stuff, and we'll be talking about that and other things from a historical standpoint and getting ready next week for the first game.
We'll see. We love talking to you. Thank you so much for calling in, sir.
I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye.
Yes, sir. That is Big C, the one and only. Over-under win total for the Auburn Tigers. Let's see what the College Game Day crew has to say about year 1 for Hugh Freeze.
6.5's the number. I'll say they go 6-6.
Yeah, I will take the under 2. I think prior to investing, any clarity on Jarquez Hunter's status is important. Mm-hmm. The last I'd seen, and Hugh talked about it at media day, and I don't think anything has broken in tangibly in terms of whether he can play or not. So. It was, I believe Hugh sort of said it was a school issue and he couldn't comment on it. But whatever it is, it's not, it is not clear. And I think he is the best player on the roster. So, and without him, and I think he has a lot of that returning production that you that you mentioned. So, yeah, that stretch at A&M, Georgia at home, at LSU, Ole Miss, like that will be hard. Look, there's Hugh Freeze has given us reasons to have faith in him as a head coach and as a play caller, even though he's going to let Philip Montgomery call plays. I imagine there'll be some hand guiding and some, his influence will be felt there. And Philip Montgomery is a great coach in his own right. But I really think, Reese, that this will be a year of struggle for the Tigers, and understandably so. The roster just wasn't what it needs to be.
So when I heard that from Pete Thamel, I guess maybe I jumped to conclusions because I had the same reaction you had right there, Wes, of he's practicing. We know he's practicing.
Yeah, I don't think
so I texted Caldwell to find out whether or not he is eligible to play, and maybe we don't know that answer yet, even though he's practicing.
Huh.
So that's a big piece of the puzzle for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, they can win the first several games though without him.
And of course, UMass, but then the California game, I don't know. I don't know.
Auburn will have trouble when they play against Southeastern Conference teams with big defensive linemen. That's when they'll have the trouble. When they have trouble running the ball and it falls all on the quarterback, that's when they'll have the trouble. Third and long, getting in bad third down situations was when Auburn's going to have trouble protecting the quarterback.
So the other piece that I wanted to play from Hard Knocks of what do we always hear about from Nick Saban, fighting complacency. And this just kind of spoke to me at least a little bit. So tell me what you think, Wes.
All right, man, check this out.
This is Robert Saleh, obviously, the Jets head coach.
All right, man, check this out. What makes a competitor in your mind? Aaron, even after 20 years, you can learn something on this one. It's a good one, dog. Check this out, man. All right, 4 levels of competitors. All right, there are 4 of them. All right, these 4 levels represent a mindset that we all have complete control over. External factors like playing ability and injuries have no bearing on which level we stand. All right, what are these 4 levels of competitor? You've got commanders, you've got competitors, you've got contenders, and you've got survivors. I promise you, everybody in this room falls into one of these categories. At the bottom are your survivors. A survivor is someone who does just enough to get by. He coasts through his day and does not maximize his mental capabilities. This group loves taking the easy way out. They love it. And they're so miserable that they will do everything they can to bring you along with them. The sad part is, every organization has at least one. And I promise you, you can't hide. The next level of competitor is a group of contenders. A contender is someone who is motivated by external factors like playing time, money, fame, or the person he's going against. He will only reach his potential if the external motivators are threatened. Third level, the one we seek, is a group of competitors. A competitor is someone who is internally motivated to be his best regardless of the situation. His place on the depth chart does not matter. Money does not matter. Fame does not matter. He is always trying to absolutely be his best. He can't be swayed because he's already maxing out his potential. This dude is trying to PR every day of life. He's got a championship mindset. And when you have a championship mindset, you embarrass the ones and you make the great ones look normal. Final one is the commander. He basically has all the traits of a competitor with one exception. He brings people with him. Which one are you? You can't hide who you are. Reality check for the offense, and I'll say this for the O. You were invited to a party by the defense, and it took you a little bit to show up. The defense pissed you off rather than, I'm going to hit the ground running. But by the time you respond to getting punched in the mouth, it's too late. It's too late. In a game, in any situation in life. Offense, thank the defense for inviting you to the party, and then defense, thank you for coming to the party, because now we can all get better together. That's the mindset. Your teammates going hard, thank you for pushing me to go above my comfort zone. We want a group of competitors, and that's what we've been building the last 3 years, is a group of men who are intrinsically motivated to be their absolute best. It is a standard. It's a way of life. It's who you are. It's your DNA. Competitors. That's what we want. You guys good? All right, guys, all gas?
That's their motto, all gas, no brakes. I thought that was...
you got to put on a brake.
Every once in a while you need to tap that little...
Yeah, you got to pump
the brakes.
Right before you hit somebody in the back, get a clipping penalty, right? You got to better pump the brakes in.
Well, we're going to talk some defense on the other side as Mickey Andrews is going to join us on the other side of our final timeout here in hour number 1 as we're live here at Woody Anderson Ford.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Score big deals at Baumhauer's this football season and order from our Inflation Bites menu. Try our Buffalo Wing Special with fries and a complimentary beverage for only $9.99. And what's football without a cold beer? Our pitchers of Yingling and Yingling Flight are only $7.99, served all day, 7 days a week. And huddle up, football fans. Sign up today for our free NFL Pick'em contest at Baumhauers.com for weekly prizes. Baumhauers, legendary fun and legendary food.
Guys, music can inspire us. Let the concert quality sound system at Zoom Indoor Cycling help push you harder than you ever thought possible. No matter if you're a beginner or an experienced rider, you'll ride top-of-the-line Stages SC3 bikes as the most talented instructors in North Alabama motivate you to reach your goals.
You can do it!
Guys, time to find out what you're made of. Challenge your friends or just challenge yourself and get in shape at Zoom Indoor Cycling. Visit ZoomHSV.com to find out more. $2 specialty shoe rental per ride for new riders.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You're starting to see more and more of them on the road in Huntsville, Madison, and North Alabama. And we've got them in stock, on the ground, ready for you to test drive. Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm talking about the all-electric Mustang Mach-E. Come experience the torque, exhilaration, and technology of our all-electric 2023 Mach-E, and you'll see why folks are leasing and buying them as fast as we can get them. And that's not to mention you may qualify for a $7,500 tax credit. Woody Anderson Ford is offering financing as low as 2.9% for 60 months, plus $3,000 in bonus cash on the 2023 Mustang Mach-E. Or you can lease one for $449 a month. And we've also got 23 Bronco Sports for $399 a month. These are 36-month leases with $52.71 on Mach-E, $37.09 on Bronco Sport due at signing. Zero security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. These offers end September 4th. Call 539-9441 for complete details. Come on in today. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
From the Fox 34 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Heat advisory will be in effect across all of North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee through the entirety of the afternoon, the evening, and then even as we head into the overnight, it's not expected to expire until 8 o'clock on Thursday evening. Air temperatures climbing into the lower triple digits on Wednesday afternoon. Heat indices approaching 109 or 110 degrees. We only drop into the mid and upper 70s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Much the same through Thursday afternoon. We're talking about air temperatures climbing into the lower triple digits with heat indices anywhere between 109 and 110 degrees. And Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I wanna thank you. Thank you for making us your number one choice for sports talk in North Alabama.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. And when you think of defense, a couple of names come to mind, but right at the top of that list, I think of Mickey Andrews. Of course, probably best known for his time at Florida State, but did you know, Wes, I didn't realize this, he played defensive back and wide receiver at Alabama. So, right out of the gate, Coach, one, I hope you're in a cool room, but two, what kind of wide receiver were you back in the day, Coach?
Hello, guys. How y'all doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Coach?
You know how it usually goes. The longer you're away from it, or further removed from it, it seems like the little better you get, especially in your own mind.
Oh, man.
In high school, I was we ran a single wing. And I was a tailback, so you had to throw the ball a little bit, you had to run it, you had to hand off, you had to kick, you had to do all that stuff. But when I got to Alabama, I don't think they knew what it was going to be. I played a running back my freshman year, and then I don't think I played any defense. And then I got hurt before the season started in '61 and was redshirted. But anyway, instead of going back all through that mess, I ended up playing both ways my senior year as a DB and wide receiver. I could catch the ball, I just couldn't run fast enough to get open.
Oh, So, Coach, who was the guy that would light you up back in the day?
Well, my redshirt season, of course, I was redshirted on the scout team. And I tell people I helped Leroy Jordan improve his talents every day. Him and Darwin Holt.
That's right.
Those were pretty good linebackers. But, I think probably Leroy would be at the top of that list. But, of course, all of them would hit you. You wasn't going to stay there if you wouldn't hit anybody. I think for Coach Bryant, I think it's a little more about toughness, mental and physical toughness, than it was about durability. And, of course, the main thing when you get right down to it, Coach Bryant's thing was, that I remember in our first meeting as a freshman, our freshman group, he told us that the first step to winning was to keep from losing. He never forgot it, and I didn't either. We tried to do the same type of things here at Florida State. You played against 11 people. You don't need to make that an uneven number as far as who you're working against. But, it's most all those guys would put the helmet on you.
Well, yeah, there were. Was it? My understanding is that Coach Bryant would sign just an incredible amount of people every year. Was it that big of a revolving door in and out of there?
Well, we had 49 freshmen on scholarship my freshman year, and I think 13 of us graduated.
That's a pretty that's a better number. Yeah, it's a better number, I'd guess.
But the thing about it too is. Back then, he might sign somebody just to keep somebody else from getting it. I don't know if he really knew. I mean, it didn't matter who you are. You're going to have to prove yourself once you got on campus. And,
Benny Nelson, Benny Nelson, coach is from Huntsville, and
sure. I remember.
Grew up next door to my mom. So actually introduced my parents together, so I'm really close with Benny.
Yeah.
And we were on the air with him and Coach Bowden when he found out he was on the cut list at one time. And Coach Bowden had gone up there to look at him. Benny didn't know that.
Yeah.
Of course, Benny ended up playing in the NFL, so he ended up doing well. But anyway, I wish he. Player. Yeah, and just that time he found out he was on the cut list, he was surprised. Anyway,
well,
Coach Bowden, and who knows if he really was. That's what Coach Bowden told, so we enjoyed it. Either way,
Coach Bowden never told me that, but I'm pretty sure I was on the cut list from the start. They just didn't want anybody want to take me, so he just got stuck with me. I didn't have nowhere to go. I was a roll tighter all the way when I left because Mom and Daddy broke my plate. When I left home.
Yep.
And we lived in a little 2-bedroom house, and my two sisters and I slept together till I don't know, till I guess probably I was a junior or senior. They had the only bed in the room, and I had a little cot I slept on. But that was fine. We had a little bitty closet, but we didn't need a big closet. Didn't any of us have any clothes? But we were blessed.
So, Coach, back in did y'all have air conditioning back then?
No, they didn't get it after I got to college. First air conditioned place I lived in was at the dorm there at Sewell Hall back a long time. That was a dorm for a long time till they got Bryant Hall.
And they didn't have air conditioning at Sewell Hall?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did. Okay, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so, Coach, what do you miss most about football now? When you watch football, I was talking to, I know you talking to Steve yesterday, Tom, when he said that you were going to come on. I said, well, you would think that you'd get an NIL deal for a chewing gum commercial still till this day. Well, and then I started with, was it Wrigley? What was your chewing gum of choice?
No, it's Big Red.
Big Red.
Yeah. I had quit chewing and dipping and all. When I got to Alabama, actually, we had a coach and I got into a little bet who could stay quit the longest, and I caught him cheating playing golf one day, but I never just thought back. I figured, man, that place I got is bad enough the way it is. I don't need my chin gone or something like that. It was caused by cancer was a tobacco, but it was Big Red. I'd put about 3 pieces of gum in there and change at halftime, and I guess they always had me when I was on camera. It looked like I was spitting or something. And,
you look like a hungry dog over
there. Yeah. Either a hungry or an angry. A little bit of both, I guess.
You were intense. There's no question about that.
They quit upsetting me there, for a while when we went through that little cycle of winning a few games. But, I was, I guess
Coach,
there was playing for fun, but I wasn't playing for fun.
Well, y'all had some really good football teams with some really good players.
We sure did.
What was y'all's secret, I guess, in recruiting? Because, you only get signed 25.
Not 49.
No, you don't get signed 49.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
So, I mean,
I don't know for sure, but somebody told me one time that they were actually on a wrestling scholarship.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't even have wrestling.
Yeah.
All they did was on scholarship.
My dad was on track scholarship.
Was he?
Yeah, he put the shot.
Yeah.
Every home game, they'd come get him, and during the spring, they'd get him off the football field, and he'd go over there in his pads. They'd let him take off his shoulder pads. He'd put the shot, and they'd get the golf cart and take him right back to practice.
Yeah, that's about like me trying to play baseball over there. He would let you play, but you had to start. But of course, I didn't get to play my freshman or sophomore year because I was redshirted. But then he Sam Bailey, whoever was coaching at that time, talked him into letting me come out for baseball, and I close one eye and swing every once in a while and get a hit. But I could throw the ball, I could catch the ball. I just couldn't run real fast. But I didn't get to play my senior year. I graduated in January, and I had to go to work. I was married at the time, and I had to go to work. But I really enjoyed it. In fact, one of our baseball coaches, I guess my last year or two, was Joe Sewell. And he played, he was in a starting team with the Yankees when Babe Ruth, I forget who else it was, I guess the first baseman. They really had some good players. But what I was going to say, Joe Sewell, as a starter, struck out 4 times in a year. In a year. And he did that every year.
That's incredible.
They get up there in a doubleheader and struck out 4 times in a doubleheader.
That's
nowadays.
true. Yeah.
It's not about whether you can hit the ball, but how far you can hit so many times now.
Well, Coach, I know we've talked to you in the past about Florida State going to the ACC instead of the SEC. There's now some more reports about Florida State looking at leaving the ACC. Do you know a little bit about this story?
Well, I've heard it, but you probably know as much about it as I do. They've got $120 million, I think it is, telling them that they need to stay. You know, that's the fee that they'd have to pay to get out if they got out now for the number of years till the grant. I forget what it's called.
I think the current contract goes to 36, Coach.
Yeah. And like $30 million a year.
Yeah,
and that, you know, I think that's what we make now.
Well, so yeah, the SEC will make per school $30 million more per year.
Yeah.
Than the ACC schools.
This past cycle was $49 million per school, and then when Texas and Oklahoma come in, it'll bump up to the neighborhood of 75 to 80 million, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the difference between the AC is $30 million a year, so that's 4 years to pay it back. You know, it's unbelievable in the realm of this.
The kind of money we're talking about.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Well, you know, we've had an opportunity to get in the SEC a couple of times, and I think when you really look at it, I don't know exactly the reason they decided to stay in the ACC. The only thing, when I look at it, you know, we won a couple of national championship teams and won I think the ACC like 9 years in a row when we started. And it just seems like, you know, I wonder, you know, I've thought about this before. Could we have accelerated and become as good a team as we did playing in the SEC as opposed to the ACC? And probably a lot of people have wondered that. I still think we would have won a few ball games, but I think, you know, the thing when we came in, we dominated the ACC, and I'm not sure it would have been quite that easy playing against the SEC schools.
Well, yeah, during that time, it was Coach Spurrier at Florida and Gene Stallings at Alabama during that era. So, there is no doubt that run y'all had in the 90s, but the talent y'all had, it may not have been as dominant, but there's no doubt that you would have been dominant, Coach.
Yeah, we would have, and we would be in contention, you know, for the championship. I think it might have been a little bit harder. Might have been a whole lot harder, but whatever reason that the people that make those decisions decided to go with ACC, it's something when you look at it right now. Maybe that time it was the best thing to do, and you wonder about it where we are now. The way the conference realignments and whatever is going on.
You know, Coach, I've always thought that it was a short term, like you said, it was the right decision, but long term, obviously, it wasn't. And I think Florida State would be in a lot better place financially, and had maybe gone through such a cold spell if they'd gone to the Southeastern Conference. Because, in my opinion, Florida State was at a high place, and the rest of the ACC wasn't there yet. And really, the Florida State has come back down toward. They're still at the upper echelon of the ACC, but it's not at the same level as the Southeastern Conference, as a whole.
Right.
And I believe that then I thought that they were making that it was the right thing to do for the short term.
Yeah.
But for the long term, I mean, you can see the difference coming really in the last 8 years, 8 or 9 years.
Was there any truth to Florida kind of trying to put the Heisman on Florida State?
There's no question about that. I know that for a fact that Florida was.
I don't know,
Florida.
but I've heard it. They did. I don't think they want to send now.
No, I know they don't. I know for 100% they don't. And Georgia didn't want Georgia Tech in either, or they would have got back in that time frame.
Right.
And and I know that because the president of the University of Mount Moore told me that. It wasn't like it was.
Yeah. You would know.
Yeah, they would know when this was all going on. So.
But see, that's the thing about it. When you make decisions, you don't have the hindsight to go in front of it.
Right. No question.
Yeah. You just you make a decision and you live with it.
Well, I wanted Florida State to get in. Yeah, because I always loved you guys. I loved the way y'all coached. I love you and Coach Bowden and the way Florida State played, and it was fun to watch. And I thought that brand would also have brought the SEC a little. It would help the SEC because of the quality of Florida State. But I thought it would help the offenses because to me, you guys were a little further along than everybody else.
Yeah. Well,
how close? Did you ever have a conversation with Coach Bryant about the potential move to Tuscaloosa, Coach?
No, I never did. I've had a couple of opportunities through the years to go back with Coach Stallings, and then with when Perkins was the head coach there, but it didn't work out. I didn't think that was the best move for me at that time.
Well, so Coach, it'd been more of a sideways move, wouldn't it?
Well, I kind of looked at it like that, and I was at a pretty good place in my coaching career at that time. The way Coach Bowden did, he left the defense up to us, and he just told us, as long as y'all don't screw it up, y'all got it.
Well, y'all would have
our best. We just tried our best not to screw it up.
Yeah. Well, so who was in charge of the kickers? That's what I don't know. That probably cost you more than anything. You weren't in charge of the kickers, were you?
No. But see, the way Coach Bowden did it, we didn't even have a special teams coach. The offensive staff took care of all the offensive kicking, the punt, the kickoff return, the extra point field goal. And then our defensive coaches had punt block, punt return, field goal block, stuff like that. And so I never did. No, to answer your question, that's a long way to say. No, I never coached Jankowski.
Well, he was pretty good.
I would have coached him on defense, though. If
Talking to Coach Mickey Andrews right now.
He'd get after it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
How often would Coach Bowden hop on the headset? Didn't seem very often, Coach.
No, we'd come down and talk every once in a while. I know one time they called a penalty on me and talking to the officials, and he came running down there and he said, "What happened? What happened, buddy?" I said, "Well, Coach, I was just complaining a little bit." And I started talking a little Japanese on him, and I didn't realize he knew Japanese. He spoke Japanese. But no, he was really good. He was unbelievable to work for, and he told us one time, one of our coaches, he said, "Listen, we was in our preseason meeting. We called him a hideaway, and so he would read your responsibilities out for each coach, and he would check and make sure you went by every school in your recruiting area, and he said, now, man, I've given you these responsibilities. I'm not going to help you do your job. if you can't do it, I didn't need you anyway. You know, he's just very blunt about it in a polite way. Is, you know, here you do this. He said, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it. And not a lot of people could do that. But he was not a guy that, you know, that was real hands-on. I guess maybe on offense he was a little bit more, but he was a great guy to work for.
So, Coach, where did you recruit? Where was your recruiting area?
Well, I was as rural as they could put me. I told him, you know, when he interviewed me to come down here, I said, Coach, I want to tell you one thing now. I'll go wherever you tell me to go, but I sure do hope you don't tell me to go to South Florida. I said, I've always, and I'd recruited Northwest Florida and Southeast Alabama, whatever, or Southwest. And I said, just don't put me down there. Those people don't understand my language, and I don't understand theirs. And we'd had three different coaches in that area recruiting 3 years in a row. So I said, Coach, you don't need to change coaches for there. Just put me somewhere a little further north than South Florida. And so he did. I was there a year. But what had happened, Wayne McDuffie was the primary recruiting coach. And then his secondary area was South Georgia. So I had part of the area from Tallahassee down to Gainesville. And my recruiting area, our secondary recruiting area, was in Alabama. So Wayne and I were just running by each other, going to our secondary areas. And so after 1 year, he said, Coach, just go ahead and just switch us. And so we'd running past each other, go to our secondary areas. And he did. So I recruited the Panhandle, Northwest Florida, and Alabama, you know, most of the time I was recruiting, working there.
Well, Coach, we always enjoy talking with you so much, and it feels like we always want to talk more with you, Coach. So we'd love to have you on during the season, Coach.
All right. Maybe we can work that out.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Sounds good, Coach. Thank you.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Big Red.
Big Red.
Yeah,
that NIL deal.
No question.
Big Red. That is Coach Mickey Andrews talking Japanese, huh?
Yeah. He said he didn't understand.
And he knew Japanese.
He didn't know he knew Japanese. That's great.
We need more Mickey Andrews, please. He was at Alabama, as I mentioned, played defensive back and wide receiver. I didn't know he was tried out for the baseball team.
Yeah, well, so you know, you had to play both ways back then. So you were.
Well, no, I mean a different sport, baseball team.
Yeah, but I was talking about.
Yeah, both ways. Yeah, which see quite a bit on the high school level still today, on the lower levels, but nonetheless, yeah, that was definitely a thing back in the '60s. But Big Red, we're gonna have to get on the horn to Big Red.
Big Red needs to sign him up.
Yeah, 3 packs at halftime. Go through 3 packs at halftime. We are in a holding pattern at the moment for head coach Nick Saban. There is a water bottle in sight at the moment, Jackson, but no Coach Saban at the moment. If Coach Saban does head up to the podium during this Sports Center timeout, we will interrupt Sports Center so you can hear from Coach Nick Saban as we are live here at Woody Anderson Ford. We'll have the phone lines open for you as well on the other side. Here is Coach Saban right now, Jackson.
How you guys doing today? Good. Well, I think, the message to the players after the scrimmage was, now's the time to get ready for the season. Every practice is important. Every game is important. got to get ready for the task at hand, develop the right habits. It leads to confidence. It leads to trust, in teammates and togetherness on the team. And it comes from, discipline, having the right mindset, having the right mental toughness to be able to sustain so that, you can elevate your game. And instead of somebody else trying to motivate you or something motivating you, how about you just focusing on what you need to do to get better so you can elevate your game without some external factor that, whether, somebody dogs you or whatever. And I think it's important that you learn from your mistakes. I think that's the best opportunity you have to learn. And this group's been pretty good about it. This is always a challenging week, but the guys have done a really, really good job the last couple days. We're working on some issues and problems that, may come up with some of our opponents during the season and probably start on the first game on Friday.
Coach, you've talked about a lot of guys working a lot of spots in the secondary. Just who are some guys that are getting maybe the most reps at star?
Malachi gets reps at star. Jalen gets reps at star. Earl gets reps at star. So those are probably the three primary guys. We're also training Terrion Arnold, to get some reps at star. So want to have 3 or 4 guys that can play it. You don't want to, really have an issue when one guy goes down and you got nobody else to play that spot.
What have you seen from Dallas Turner this camp?
Dallas has done great. I mean, he's been a really good leader. He set a good example. He's worked really hard. He's been very productive. And I think he's just done fantastic for us.
Chase? When Burton Burns was coaching your running backs, if I remember right, philosophically he'd say he liked the backs to just make one cut and then get upfield. If I'm remembering that right, is that something that still gets emphasized in the offense?
Well, I think you want people to run north and south. You want them to get their pads down. You don't want them to dance in the hole. But I think runners that are good runners, are instinctive. And when they should make cuts, when they should make lateral cuts, when they just need to burst through the hole when they have an opening. And I don't know if you can overcoach that, but, if you're going to run the ball effectively, guys got to know when to get their pads down and get north and south so you can have a 4-yard play and not maybe a negative yard play because they're trying to make something where there's nothing. And I really think that, our guys, all 4 of them, do a really good job of that.
Yes, Coach. I wonder if there's a downside when you have the quarterback position and the players taking a long time to separate themselves and make the decision for you, I guess the way to put it.
Yeah, but that's kind of up to them. Like I said in here before, I told the quarterbacks, I said, quit looking around for me to make a decision about who's going to play. How about you playing good enough that I don't have a choice? That's what you can control. That's what you can do. And somebody needs to do that. And it's sort of, taking shape to some degree, but somebody's got to do it. And, where you all think that, like whoever we name as a starter for the first game, that's like the end of it. It's not the end of it. It's just the beginning. So what if a guy doesn't play good? He's not entitled to keep playing. And the guy that doesn't play is got every opportunity to practice and be more consistent and win the team over so that when he gets an opportunity to play, he plays really well. I mean, we have changed quarterbacks around here a few times during the season. So I know you guys are looking for an end, but it's not even going to be the end in the first game. You're looking at me kind of funny. Am I not explaining that very well?
I didn't explain it very well in my question, I suspect, but I was wondering about
Yeah, I know
time,
what you asked,
time,
and I just don't want to answer it because we're going to make the best of it for our team, and our team has to make the best of it as well. So, and whoever plays the position, everybody's got to play well around them and do the best job that they can to help them play well.
Coach, where have you seen Tim Keenan make the most progress on the defensive line?
Tim has done a really good job. He lost weight. He got in much better shape. He's moving a lot better. He's a lot quicker. He's always had a lot of explosive power. So he's been a really pleasant surprise in this camp to be a guy that's playing like a starter, actually.
How have you seen the defense progress from the beginning of fall camp to now as a whole?
I mean, I think just about every time something bad happens, and when I say bad happens, I'm talking about an explosive play. It's either about missed tackles or mental errors. And I think we've gotten better at eliminating, some of those. But one of the things I didn't think we did as well in the last scrimmage as the first scrimmage is tackle. And, that goes back to how you practice. We don't really ever and have never practiced where you tackle people in practice. But you have to thud them, right? So you get in position to tackle the guy, you near leg, your shoulder, you wrap the guy up. So you're always in position to tackle. And if you do that consistently, then when you have to tackle people, you're going to be in the right position. And that's something that we really emphasize with our players, this week to try to improve the tackling.
Just how has the transfer portal affected your ability to retain and develop some of the players that you've recruited at wide receiver in particular?
I don't know who you're specifically, talking about, but guys are getting transfer portal. This is not for everybody. Okay, so maybe people that want to be here, want to be good, want to do the best they can, develop value for their future and who they are as a person, what kind of requirements we have for them to succeed academically so they can develop a career on the field, and what we're going to do to try to develop them on the field. And I think, I'm not mentioning any names, but there's only like one player that I was really disappointed that, the guy didn't stay here, and I couldn't understand why he was leaving. And, and all the rest of them, they would have contributed if they stayed and had the right attitude, but it's their choice. And, what we have an opportunity to do when guys leave is we have an opportunity to replace them too.
Two more, Austin and Kentucky.
Yeah, Coach, a little different with today being the first day of classes. What do you remember from your first day of school at Kent State?
Nothing. You know how many years ago that was?
1907.
Yeah, well. I will say this about the team. I told them last night, I said, I know tomorrow's your first day at college. I'm talking about everybody. College. You're going to college tomorrow. So most of the time, that really impacts the quality of the practice that we have. But that wasn't the case today. They were focused and practiced, and they were ready to go. And so, maybe it's online classes. I don't know. But I really don't remember much of anything about, the biggest thing I remember about going to college was, the day my parents dropped me off at school, and I felt like I was all alone and didn't know anybody in the world, and how difficult it was to sort of develop relationships and get started and figure out how do I fit in here and what do I need to do. So I remember that, but that wasn't the first day of class. And then I remember what happened on May 4th. That's probably the two things I remember the most.
What has Caden Proctor shown you since joining the team, and how much progress has he made?
He's shown me he's big, and he's made a lot of progress. He's improved a lot. He's got a lot of ability, and there's things that he needs to continue to work on, and obviously experience is going to help him. And when you get experience is a culmination of how do you learn from your mistakes, and that's what experience is. And and he's been pretty good about that. I think Booker playing next to him at left guard has helped him a lot, because it puts a veteran player next to him who it gives him a little bit of security and make calls and that type of thing. So that's been a good thing for us.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Is that it? Oh, did I do okay today? I mean, I haven't asked you guys since I had my media training exactly how well I'm doing, so I just thought
Not the report.
Nick Saban press conferences on 97.7 ESPN The Zone is brought to you by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Our locations in Athens and Huntsville can serve your driving needs. Whether you need a car for 2 days or a passenger van for 2 weeks, we've got you covered. Rent local, rent McCurry Van and Car.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at Woody Anderson Ford, as that was about a solid 40 minutes worth of content right there for you, uninterrupted, as we heard there from Coach Nick Saban. Definitely in a mood right there, and didn't want to answer the question about his quarterback room. So I say that to say someone who does want to answer that question about the quarterback room is one Reese Davis from earlier today, the podcast that dropped from College Game Day from ESPN.com. Here's what Reese has to say on the quarterback room in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I think they'll start with Jalen Milroe. I figure that 2 or 3 quarterbacks will play in the opener. It seems that Milroe has been the most consistent in practice in a group that hasn't exuded consistency. And perhaps one thing, if they don't get it solved early, in terms of somebody, to use the Saban vernacular, if no one takes the bull by the horns at quarterback down the line, keep an eye on true freshman Dylan Lonergan, who probably has thrown the ball as well or better than any of them, but he was in for spring, but he's a freshman. That would be down the line and would probably indicate that things had not gone well at that position. But I think they'll start with Milroe, and if Milroe can figure it out, mostly just take care of the football. But that's the biggest issue. He is a playmaker, and if they're planning to run the football, then adding another weapon at quarterback, you'd be hard pressed to find a better one than Jalen Milroe as a runner and developing as a passer too.
So that Lonergan name again.
Well, so what he's wrong there is, didn't Clemson win a national championship with a freshman quarterback? Yes, they did. I can answer that. Yeah. So Lonergan is a special. First of all of them are athletes. Now Milroe is a special athlete. He's probably if he's not the fastest on the team, he's a close second. I mean, he weighs 235 pounds. His deal is consistency. Like, he'll throw a ball and look like an All-American and drop it out of the sky to somebody, and the next play he'll overthrow him by 10 yards. He just needs to get consistent and find that. And I think that's a lot of little things. Mm-hmm. Hesitating to throw to his second, third, in his third reads. He's just it's a snap. If he ever gets that snap, which Jalen Hurts used to do also, I might add.
I was about to go there.
And he got it. So I think that that's a part of it. Lonergan's a special guy.
Well, I remember in particular you mentioning Jalen Hurts. We don't know if he can get better. I mean,
yeah, but they do get better, but Lonergan's doing some things in practice that's woeing everybody. Now, is he ready to play? No, I don't think he's ready to play every down at the level at this, but he's getting closer. And my understanding is the Notre Dame, what's his name? Notre Dame quarterback is starting.
How quickly we forget.
No,
right?
but he had a really good scrimmage.
Oh, okay.
He did better this scrimmage and is doing better in practice. So he's kind of helping. The one that just blows my mind is Ty Simpson, who Vegas had as the
that's
and
right.
who had the best practice. The one scrimmage I went to had the best scrimmage. And has not followed. I understand he has some good practices. He hasn't been consistent. And who can explain that?
Maybe Blake Barnett. Who knows?
Yeah, Blake Barnett just having on 7. You throw the defensive line in, he wasn't any good. He had 8 turnovers in one scrimmage. I'll never forget it. Still talk about it. I told you that.
That is the one thing in particular.
And then he started in that game, and I think he started in that game to take the pressure off the freshman, Jalen Hurts.
That is the one area that I thought the media would go to this fall, Wes, that they haven't. That is penalties and turnovers.
Well, yeah, and it was that, the penalties, the turnovers from last year. But to me, it was even the things you can't see. It was a bust. The bust on defense, the bust is on at wide receiver in the 2 biggest games that they lost. In very close games, you cannot bust in these games. You just can't do it. I mean, that's unheard of to me. I mean, everybody's gonna have a bust every one, but having 17. I mean, I went. You might play 20 games before I had a bust. Every once in a while you're gonna have
because you want your most consistent guys out there.
Right, you got to be consistent every down. You can't have busts because when you have a bust, it's gonna give you a chance on offense to make a play. Especially if you're the primary receiver and you go the wrong way.
Well, what were your big takeaways of what Coach Saban just said?
That Miss Saban sent him to media school. And I wondered why he'd been being like he is, and everybody.
Is that it?
Oh yeah, I think that he's scared half the conference because he's been nice to the press, and they're all worried that he has such.
Well, yeah, that first press conference, he came out, he was laughing.
Oh yeah, that was
and everybody was like, "Uh-oh, wait a second, he's laughing."
The snowflake over in the Millennial Snowflake over there had a whole whole show about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Worried to death because
we had our own little snaps at media day, and they had their own little.
He just told on himself
conniption
today.
That's right.
That he said he'd been to media
training,
and it's obvious that who made him go. There's only one person made him go. It wasn't that. What's his name? The guy's always behind him.
Oh gosh, no.
He looks like he's
Josh.
Yeah,
that's
Josh looks scared to death. He looks like he's just,
I was egging on Josh, by the way, before the fall press conferences. I sent him what the Tennessee guy, Bill Martin, the intro that Bill Martin did for Josh Heupel. And I never did get a response, but I would love, I would just love the reaction from Nick Saban of Josh.
Josh is a trash panda at a coon convention. That's what he looks like, right? He just got his head's on a swivel, scared to death.
Oh, boy.
He's about to get cussed out in front of everybody.
on the wide receiver room, I know we talked a lot about Alabama in particular, the wide receiver position, and he talked a little bit about the wide receiver room, and it kind of ties into a little bit of what I heard from Randall Cobb last night on Hard Knocks. And this is what Randall Cobb, he is a very veteran receiver from Kentucky and played a lot with Aaron Rodgers. But listen to what Randall had to say on this is him talking to his other wide receivers on the practice field from Hard Knocks last night.
What do you guys think, man? Honest opinion of today.
I was just talking to 12 or 8, and he was just telling me, we had a lot of mistakes in our room today, and just basic stuff, little things, right? Like, we can't have that. And it's all cool right now, but I'm telling you, one day he's going to lose his shit. It's going to happen if it continues to go the way it's going right now. Because if he don't trust you, he's not going to throw you the ball. I can promise you that. If he don't trust you, he don't not like throwing interceptions. So if he can't trust that you're going to run the right route, he's not going to throw it. It's just a matter of time. Continue to work and stay in your book and stay locked in so we can get to where we want to go.
So, I mean, a lot of truth and just in general across the board, Wes, in that wide receiver room of that trust in between quarterback and wide receiver.
Yeah. You can't. The most frustrating thing on third down is you get them all blocked and they blitz and a wide receiver runs the wrong way. So, I mean, it's frustrating for the whole team.
Yeah.
Even the people on the sideline. That's how you got to move the chains. On third down, you just the drops will kill you on third down. They'll just, I mean, you think about it, it's almost like a turnover. It's not as bad as a turnover, but it's almost a drop. It's like,
well, if it's on third down, it might as well.
On a drop, what you've had is you had the coaches call the right play. The offensive line and the backs picked up what they were supposed to do to allow the quarterback to throw the ball. You get in the right place, right time, everything's perfect, and it hits you in the chest and not on the ground. They're momentum killers, and it seems to be contagious. Much less if you go the wrong way. Wide receivers are really, really, but you have to have great ones to win championships. Name a team that hadn't had a great wide receiver that's won a champ. I mean, they're just not. You can't anymore. It's like Coach said, he could catch, he couldn't outrun anybody. So I mean, that was a great.
That was a great answer.
So yes,
that whole running thing.
Oh, why not? So, but I just read where one of the wide receivers at the Jets is leaving football.
Really?
Yeah. So he must have had a real bad day to practice. Maybe.
I guess so. The last bit of audio I want to play before we punt over to the Braves, as they have just started with their final game of their series against the Mets, is from this morning. The Talking Ball's been on a tailgate tour, and this morning they were up on the hill at Alabama A&M, and tampering has definitely been a subject. There is no doubt about that. Tampering is a big subject in college football, and Coach Maynor was asked from Scott Tyson this morning about tampering. Here's what the Bulldog head coach had to say.
I've heard other coaches say, hey, look, we're in the FCS. Coaches are poaching our kids all the time. They're coming and taking our best talent all the time. That is a real thing going on in college football.
Yeah, they actually recruit off our tape. They just put our tape on and start recruiting players. Or they go see who made all conference, who's player of the year, who's defense player of the year. And they go recruit those guys and sign them and bring them up. So what happened to y'all recruiting them 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that tell you how good you are. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that tell you how good you are. Yeah, now you want to come and get the guy. Before you just want to listen to everybody else and sign all the 4 stars and 5 stars. Now, okay, let's go get this kid. He wasn't no star, but now he can play for you. He couldn't play for you before. So it is what it is. It's you got to live with it. Everybody. It's affecting all FCS coaches. It's affecting me. So I don't make excuses. I just deal with it. You find a way. You find a way. That's what champions do. That's what fathers do. They find a way. They don't make excuses.
That is a little bit there from Coach Maynard.
I mean, I can understand his frustration. It's everybody's frustrated with it, though. I mean,
everybody's job's harder.
Yeah. So
because there's a portal. You heard Coach Saban talk about that portal.
Oh yeah. Well, he was upset. With one that left. I'm pretty.
Which one?
I'm guessing Aaron Anderson, wide receiver. I think he had a. I think Coach thought he could be really good. Stayed hurt a little bit last year, and but you run from competition. Hopefully, he'll grow up and not do that. Maybe he didn't like his coach. It could be anything. Maybe he had a girlfriend where he went. You just don't know.
You don't.
There's a lot that goes into it, and you got to be comfortable where you are. I just my whole thing is if they're not going to pay him, they ought to let him transfer or whatever they want to do. But if they pay him, they ought to have to stay a couple of years anyway.
We are an affiliate of the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Some other news that came out today. It is officially official. Eli Gold will be in the broadcast booth handling play-by-play duties for all the home games this year. Chris Stewart will be handling the action for all the road games for the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Tyler Watts is replacing John Parker Wilson as color analyst, and Christian Miller, who has been on the sidelines, is now in that official role as sideline commentator. Christian Miller will be your sideline analyst, so you're going to get
all
both.
Those guys are really good guys, every one of them.
Yes, but did want to pass along that news.
So is John Parker actually is the president of the A Club this year, but is he doing something for Coach Saban off the field?
That's what I was told. That's what I was told. But it is not in this press release, but I don't want to color outside the lines.
I just never thought he was a great color guy. Do you agree with that? I mean, that has to be hard in the world.
I miss Snake, honestly.
Well, who doesn't?
I mean,
yeah, who doesn't? He yelled that S word we're not supposed to say. Somebody said on the radio tonight.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, I didn't either. But you're not supposed. I have said it. That's why I have a button.
Well, in this building.
Yeah, that's the first time I said it about as loud as it's a truthful statement. What I said though.
Yeah.
So, butt fumbler. So
that's right.
But you. I don't even know where I was going with that now. But you look at
Tyler Watts.
You look at Kenny, and he said on an interception, it was when we lost to one of the little teams before we beat Florida.
UCF maybe? Or?
No, it was might have been Louisiana. It wasn't
Monroe?
I forget who it was. We lost to a team we shouldn't have, and the next week we beat Florida down there. Anyway, in that game, we were driving for a touchdown, and the guy made a hell of a play, jumped up and intercepted the ball. And I was listening on the radio, and just Kenny said, he said ship really loud, like sailing ship, right?
Yeah.
That's all he said. And there was silence. It's kind of like when we were here.
Oh, yeah.
You and Cole went to
who?
Yeah, y'all looked like y'all both turned white. Didn't play it off at all.
No.
Just totally silence. Says we need to go to break. It's like, God, come on, guys.
Just help them out.
Yeah, help me out a little bit.
That's why how far we've grown, right?
Yes, this is true.
It's a long time ago. So that is going to wrap us up here from Woody Anderson Ford. On the other side of this timeout, Braves baseball. It'll be Braves and Mets on the other side. A big thank you to Woody Anderson Ford for hosting us. So long, everybody.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air back in studio with us. And Thomas, those temperatures in the summertime starting to rise once again. You want to make sure you're not left out in the heat. You want some cold AC? Give Talent